3DS, three dudes who have a common interest in cryptocurrency, finance, technology, sports, science, politics, and current events. The content provided in the podcast is for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as financial advice. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not represent professional financial guidance. Always consult with a certified financial advisor or conduct your own research before making any investment decision. Listeners act on this information at their own risk. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 9. Holy moly. I can't believe it's been 9 whole weeks of this already, and it is coming at us lightning fast. Corey, Nate, we in the
Surprised we
building.
still on the internet, man.
Ain't take us down yet.
Nope. We made it
So
this far.
we got tons of information to give you folks this week. We pat last week. I think we stopped at 15 state adoptions. We're up to 27 now. Oh, wow, wow. Not to mention, you can go back. We got receipts. We talked about this before. I'm talking Nate mentioned that it was going to go to a localized level, and holy shit balls, it's happening. I mean, we
I'll give
just
you the
can't stop it
quote.
now.
It was township, and I included police department and fire.
There it is.
Pretty interesting. So it's happening. It's pretty crazy.
And universities. University of
Absolutely. Again,
Austin,
any institution that holds money, it just the transfer needs to be there,
put it on the
or
balance
else
sheet.
they're going to be a little
For
late.
sure.
Yeah. How can you not want to appreciate everything else is depreciating that you have to buy for your business? Why would you not want something that appreciates over time with zero effort from any of your overhead people? Nobody has to get involved in doing any work on the ground level for you to make money off of that investment. So it's a no brainer.
Absolutely.
Be it
Right.
Bitcoin, be it, we got called Bitcoin maxis, which I think is very interesting. It represents like less than 25% of my portfolio, but it is what it is. I'm diversified. I believe in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think probably because, we speak to Bitcoin, most folks know Bitcoin whether they're in crypto or they're touching it for the first time. That's the one that they know. So we kind of use Bitcoin as the beacon to or the line segment that the endpoint that we start from, and then we go from there. But I mean, we have no sponsorship, no nothing with anyone. It's just, but we talk about them all. I mean, I think I've mentioned XRP more on this show. I don't know if anybody out there wants to do the count, but I think I've said XRP more than maybe all of us on here combined. That's the one that I have my conviction in.
Start P Maxi.
Yeah, but
No,
I'm also not out here, I'm not telling nobody to get it. This is what I believe in based off of my research.
Well, you believe in a lot based off your portfolio, but I've mentioned H bar, all these other tokens. You
I
just
mean it's gonna be like that. That's normal. You're gonna have your favorites.
yeah,
It's whatever
or
one you
favorites,
probably do
or
the
just
most research on, honestly.
Yeah.
or maybe even just had the most your luck with timing on in some
Yeah,
cases.
for sure.
None of that, and it's just what has fit the narrative of what we were talking about. And H bar is talking about tokenizing asteroids. Who else is talking about that? I mean, that's let's talk about it. That's crazy. So
Yeah.
there's that area there as well, that box that we're like, all right, well, we're just talking about shit that's kind of buzzing right now, kind of
Yeah.
giving you guys.
And then you pull the curtains back and you see that they all really are kind of seamless together and have seem to have some sort of contract or smart contract or some sorts with one another. You got Ondo XRP, Ondo's working with World Live, Ondo's working with whoever, V Chain's tied in with all these other currencies. So it's pretty interesting the level of adoption that's happened in the past 60 days, 20 days.
Well, since you mentioned it, did you see World Lib is creating a fund called Micro or Macro Strategy?
Macro, huh? Wonder, I
MicroStrategy.
wonder who inspired that.
Hmm. Can only ponder.
Mr. Sailor.
We can only ponder.
That's
And
why
it
he
makes you,
changed his company's
I
name.
say, it makes you wonder why they changed the name. Yeah, so World Liberty Financial announced its strategic token reserve called MacroStrategy. Very interesting. Very interesting. Here's the thing, and the guys will tell you, we say it all the time. There's so much news coming out, and it's all positive, and it's so hard. It's so hard to not look at this chart and go, but we ain't doing nothing yet. I mean, news is news. Like I don't give a rat's ass about the news if I ain't seeing no action. My portfolio ain't seeing no action. We gotta stay convicted though. I had a day yesterday and the guys were reinforcing me. So get you some get you some folks like that around and not paper hands. That's all I'm saying.
No, it is frustrating. It is frustrating. But I mean, we're a pressure cooker. That's kind of how you gotta look at it. If all this stuff is going on, it's only a matter of time before, right now, like we said, there's talks of this stuff coming into fruition. Granted, some things are already being pushed, like the legislation with the states we were talking about, but uh, that's why it, we're gonna see altcoins are down so hard. I think they're gonna really run hard in the next month or two. Uh, but Bitcoin, that's why I say towards the end of the year, it's going to be crazy because all these things that they're talking about doing now are going to be in play by then. And then it's just going to cause this massive pump that people I don't think are expecting.
I think a lot of people are expecting it. I don't know that they know the gravity at which this compressed spring is gonna.
For sure.
It's like
And
creating
that's kind of what I'm
grasshoppers
getting at.
out of paper clips.
Yeah, and it's going to bounce through a black hole. So stand by.
And the black hole will be tokenized by H bar.
Absolutely, they own everything in space. They will. Yeah, I mean, just have your patience, believe in your plays, educate yourself further, and remove that doubt, and then educate the people around you.
For sure. All right. So now that we have the state adoptions taken off left and right, I think you mentioned New York. They want to do it, but in typical New York fashion, they're creating a panel to basically
Yeah,
suss it out.
they're essentially going to waste a lot of money before they just go ahead and invest into the asset itself to find out if they need to invest in the asset itself. So I find that highly interesting when you have 20 plus other states bipartisan adoption taking place around you. The federal government that sits above you is talking about it, not just them. And then you have the global side, which I guess if you're some people, they just aren't seeing this news. I don't know what their algorithms are showing them, but the adoption worldwide is happening. I know there's a lot of IMF complaint, but compliance can be sought out there just like any other organization.
Their mindsets. Regular people don't see crypto like even with all this going on, they don't see it as a real tangible thing or useful. They always bring up thing, well, you can't buy anything with, or it's too volatile, or oh well, it drops seven. They don't even know the percentage, but they just know it drops a lot. They think that somebody goes runs $1,000 bag up to I don't know, let's say 100 grand, and it drops 90%. I mean, he's still up 10 grand, 9 grand. Like, even if he
Yeah.
held on, didn't take any profit, just round tripped it. But again, if he held on to it for another 4 years, he'd probably go to 200K or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they don't see it being like, because I've talked to people and I tell them, and they're just like, I hear all kinds of different shit. like I said, sometimes it's this negative mindset, like, oh, well, you never know what's going to happen in the future. And it's just like, well, that's just no way to view shit.
That's no way to live.
Yeah.
All
So
right. What are we
again,
looking at here?
I was just throwing that up in the background while he was talking about the adoption because I believe this was Van Eck's little summarized Excel spreadsheet of the number that would be invested immediately upon approval of all these documents.
23
23.
billion,
Yes, sir.
you know,
Which
So
is nuts.
whether
That's
even
nuts.
whether that's initial investment or that's total, which some of these I would imagine are just initial, and you also have to look because you have one, two, three, four, five states that aren't even being clear with their numbers. So this is just based off what's present in the data, 23.5 billion for at the state level. So I was just throwing that up there while he was going over that.
For sure. No, I mean, the adoption is happening on every level. I think it's safe to say. I mean, I just saw a thing, Bank of Canada just acquired like 2 million in Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, this is great because it's going to segue into the next thing that we're going to talk about, though. So we have this mass adoption, and what we're seeing right now seems to be um a lot of the banks are going more with the ETF ETP route. We kind of talked about the baskets and the ETFs before, and Corey wants to clear some air up on it. So I'm gonna let him. He felt very compelled the other day to let us know on his lunch break. So we
He was
said,
very, very
keep that
passionate about it.
energy. We'll bring it to the show. So the floor is yours, my boy.
because we were talking about it in the chat and it just kind of dawned on me. I'm like, you hear things like Van Eck bought X amount of billion dollars of BlackRock ETF. Granted, they say it's spot, but I don't personally believe that they have all of that Bitcoin. Like it's probably just like a bank, like where they probably have a percentage of it and then have their other money free so they can spend it elsewhere and do other things. But uh I'm gonna have to look into to see what like if they truly own 100% spot when you buy it. But then there's just some derivatives and paper ETFs. So it's kind of like you hear all these billions buying, but they're buying contracts and basically fake Bitcoin. Uh, that's why it's good to hear all the money coming in the space, but if you just take out the time to learn literally 10 minutes, you can figure out how to move crypto around. It's not that hard, and don't be nervous about doing it. Send a couple dollars instead of sending your whole amount. Make sure it works. But now the ETF thing, I don't know. I just feel like it's very scammy in a way, and it's kind of sucking up the attention off of actually owning your keys. If you don't own your keys, you really don't own your coins. Um, some people would even say that about fiat, like, whether that's in gold or basically our money, like you go try to withdraw 10, $20,000 cash from the bank. It's like a pain in the ass. And they might not even have it. They might have to order it.
Facts.
Like,
I was just going to throw in there, yeah, but you went into it with the fiat side of it. I was going to say it's the same thing as you see it now with the gold ETFs. That's owed to you, quote
mhm.
unquote, in gold, just like your or your savings in your bank is owed to you in cash. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily have all your capital in one place, but yeah, I just thought that was funny. You went ahead and threw that fiat in there for them,
Yeah.
knock them
Well,
down.
because man, you just got to be careful with these types of people. It's like, you basically invite the devil to dance and they're dancing now. They are not good people. Like, yes, they have billions of dollars and they do, but they're not good people. They cheat all the time in the stock market. You hear all these stories of them getting fined. Nobody ever goes to prison or jail. Whereas if we did something like that, you're going away. White collar crimes. But they do it. They go to the SEC. They take it to court, and then they end up settling, basically paying a slap on the wrist fine. They might scam $10 billion and have a $500 million fine. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it. There's no consequence, So I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, and then they're getting into crypto. So, and it really goes against the original ethos behind crypto. But again, it's like one might say it's a necessary evil as far as adoption and going mainstream. But this brings me into my other point about what we were talking about, the localized governments and the schools, the university putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and there's a police department. And when I seen that, they said they were gonna self-custody. So that's what I'm saying. That's the right idea, and that's kind of funny because Bitcoin's sticking to its roots as a from the ground up, like compared to other assets. People got in first, not institutions and like regular Joes and people that were doing some shady business in the very
Absolutely.
early stages. But honestly, that's kind of how it normally works. That's, anything that's ever kind of
Mhm.
evolved always comes down from crawls out of the gutter.
Yeah,
I'm
imagine the NIL incentives that you can get as a university with a Bitcoin versus whatever your scholarship or your money fiat exchange contract short term where inflation might implode and determine that it's has zero value. So it's interesting to that level. I mean, it's going even further than I thought at this pace in the timeline, which keeps expanding.
and
Rapidly.
as I mentioned on our call, the other side of that coin is the the boomer who has his guy who he's been calling, and he doesn't give a shit about self custody. He just is trying to make an investment, and so he's totally fine with calling up his broker and telling him, hey, dump X amount of dollars into that ETF. So you have both sides of it. I don't think it's always a one size fits all. And then to kind of elaborate on what or extrapolate what you were saying about keeping the ethos of Bitcoin, I think one thing is the changing of times and the changing of our monetary system is necessary to keep up with the trajectory of our future and technology. The other part is if it goes on the blockchain, it's anybody can see it. So the notion of like that it's used for sex trafficking and buying arms and all this other business. Did you go to the blockchain and see what's going on with it? Like I don't. It's easy to throw out those allegations, but that's one of the the true values in it is you could see how the money is being spent. A lot
You
to
can track
unpack
it.
there.
I mean, they always that's their worst thing they can do to Bitcoin is just remind it of the Silk Road days. It's like Bitcoin had a little rough past at one point, but it's moved past that. It's evolved past that.
Only because
And
it was transacted on the black market before it was really
well,
mainstream. But so is fiat, so are cashier's checks, so were PayPal payments, so were all these other payments that are used commonly that nobody cares about. Cash App. I mean, goodness gracious.
you know, I
The
mean,
list
most
goes
things are
on and
going
on.
on in the black market until it comes out to to the public, and then you're a little late. This has kind of been going on, but
ETFs aren't going anywhere. It's the segue into the mass adoption, right?
no, they're
Yeah,
not going
yeah,
anywhere.
part
They're
of it.
gonna be here. But that's why I sent you. That's why I sent you that long ass image. because when you go scroll to the bottom, it shows the derivatives amount and how much money. It's more money than all the real money in the world. And when you read next to it, it says like futures and contracts and all
Hmm.
these things. So like that's what I'm saying. They don't have that much money. It's $600 trillion. They don't have $600 trillion. They don't have that shit laying around. If everybody decided to cash out tomorrow, there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, there's no way. So I don't know. That's why I was like, man, it just kind of. I'm like, screw the ETFs. It for me personally. If you're new or like you said, you're somebody, you're older and you have a financial advisor, then sure, yeah, it's the easy way. But again, I hear the same objections from the normies, like, oh, well, what happens if
Muggles.
EMP happens? Yeah, muggles. If the EMP happens and the network goes down, I'm like, well, dude, it doesn't fucking matter anyways. Like,
Yeah,
your
you're
money's
fucked
gone.
regardless.
You got some
What are you gonna
some
do with some paper
food.
money?
That's what I'm saying. Like, everything is fucked.
At that point, it's preparation.
The fact that you got to bring up a worst case scenario to kind of like be like, oh well, what happens if this can
That's
take it
that's
down?
that's
Well,
your
that's going to take
argument.
down everything. So I don't know. It's kind of a blanket thing.
What's
Again,
funny you mentioned derivatives because Coinbase is launching Solana and Hedera futures
there you go.
coming down the line. And
It's
then you
coming.
get
We're getting a nice little pump right now. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, go for it.
Green
Get,
light.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention to it today at all, but this
of course I
morning,
have.
this morning we was down at 94. We're about to hit 98. So I mean, we moved 4 grand pretty quickly.
Yeah, nobody seems to care anymore because they've moved that goalpost so fast. We're supposed to be at 700,000 because Kathy Wood said so.
Sorry, I think we have a good chance of hitting 100K by the end of the night. Like, if it keeps moving like this, and look at the time, it's the 12th, man.
I was
Tell
going to
you,
say it is February.
yeah. So this is gonna start moving. Have you seen pancake swaps moving? Your favorite altcoin, Litecoin, was moving a bit the other day. I think. Oh,
Fear and greed
I
has
think.
moved up 5 points from last week.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Well,
There's a couple people.
I'm giving the updates.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
giving
yeah.
updates. I'm spitting updates. I mean,
What else?
I'll tell
Over
you what
half the
else.
states, and it's February. We're not even
Half the
Yeah.
outside the
states
first
only
100 days.
February, only 13 days into this no, we're more than 13 days.
We're on the 12th.
We're on the 12th. The man's been in office for 3 weeks. A lot of things are happening. We'll get there. But in the meantime, on chain real world assets are gaining a lot of traction with BlackRock and JP Morgan. They're pushing to tokenize this thing. And you know what happens when BlackRock pushes? They usually get their way because they got a lot of money backing them. Total value lock could hit 50 billion, could be in the keyword in 2025. Huge.
50 billion there, 27 billion from the states, a couple billion from the Fed, hundreds and hundreds of thousands from all these localized levels. Corporations, universities start diversing their donor funds into these crypto programs,
Yep.
so on, so forth.
And we come on the show every week and we talk about the stuff. And I know a lot of times it all gets drowned out in the ether. If what we said, if who we are doesn't matter to you, that's fine. David Schwartz this past week was talking about how the people are front running this thing, just as Corey was just mentioning, just as we've said on just about every single show, we are front running this thing. And so when the institutions hit, this is your opportunity to make a play for you, yourself, your family, your loved ones, whoever you're doing it for. This is your opportunity to make a little scratch. And by a little scratch, I mean a lot of scratch. Don't miss it. That's all I'm saying.
You want to retire your bloodline. That's basically what we're looking to do here, folks. Uh,
That's the
every week
bullish.
is the every week is adoption. Basically, like that's the theme of the show at the current moment in history. Because adoption is coming out every day, like a lot, not just like one article. It's multiple articles about this state doing this or this company doing this. So it's a lot going on to be expected. We're in the midst of a bull run. You're going to hear a lot of positive things. This is why we can't focus. Like you got to keep an eye on it, but don't bet the farm on the news and everything that's going on. Again, just give it time. Money flows
Patience.
from impatient hands to patient hands. So, just sit tight, ignore the volatility. We're still up. There's no need for panic. Like that's why I said it on the last week about, the fact that we're sitting at 90, what were we at? Like 93, 94. The fear and greed index is way down like that. Like it's good for me. I'm okay with it. So
But even if you bought at 107, whatever the all-time high was, 109, even if you bought at 109 with all this bullish news coming out, the savvy person would say, okay, well, I'll just wait until, unless you bought and you really weren't in the position to be holding for a long time.
yeah,
I mean, like 109 still really ain't shit.
you would only be down 15%.
It really ain't shit. That's what I'm saying. Especially like you, just the state adoption alone. The Fed never does it. The state adoption alone, the amount of money that's going to flow into this thing and pump it up, hey, pump it up. It's it's crazy. And then you got Cynthia Loomis over here. Is she talking about if we just got 5% of the Bitcoin, we could pay back our debt in 20 years or cut our debt in half in 20 years. So using logic, common sense, you go, that carries 0 to the power, divide that. You got to do all that shit. The money is going to be there. If you bought in at 109, sit on your fucking hands. Don't even look at your phone. I damn sure wouldn't. If I bought at 109, I'd be like, let me come back to that one. But that's where that DCA comes in that we
I was gonna
always
say I
talk
would
about.
absolutely be looking at my phone right now and buying out that deficit that you're staring at and dreading. Just chip away at it. Decrease your average cost. Decrease that negative that you're seeing.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, there's a lot of price action to come. It's You'll be fine. Just chill out. Just as
Don't
the
miss
boys
it.
told me,
Don't
chill
miss
out.
it.
It's going to be a huge opportunity.
Some would say the biggest.
Some would
I'm
say the
telling you, I
biggest.
think this time, I think this cycle, it's going to break diminishing returns. If it goes to even close to these numbers that they're calling for, it's going to break the diminishing return uh, history that's been going on. So that means Bitcoin would have started a new bullish trend in a like 15-year chart. That's like mega bullish. Like we're getting into like crazy,
Talking that super cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. If it does
Golden
that,
era hyper cycle.
and it makes me question, have they been waiting for this? Like, because these guys, they've been doing what I do for on the side their entire lives or, their careers. So when they missed out on the 2013 and 2017 run, I think 2017 was the run where they really woke up and were like, all right, we need to pay attention to this and start studying this. Because you heard this stuff coming out in 21, but again, they move a little slow. And again, I feel like they were just kind of studying it and plotting it, watching it how it moves because they missed the most exponential gains in the beginning. Maybe we're about to get that final exponential run.
Hmm.
Not to say that we're not going to have other bull runs, but this one in particular, or the next one for sure, is going to be. again, we're gonna break that diminishing return theory. Just like we already broke 5.3. So invalidated.
It's happening. I mean, when in doubt, zoom out, right?
When
It's
in doubt,
happening.
zoom out. And it's finite, people. It's finite. If you don't know what finite means, it means it can't be no more. That's it. 21. And you hear all these numbers we hit you every week again, all the adoption. It's finite. Supply and demand. It's gonna go parabolic. That's why I say it's gonna break the diminishing returns. That's why it's gonna break diminishing returns, is because at some point, good luck trying to find it. Especially if all this buying, you're talking so much money is coming in. It's coming in at every angle.
This brings up a good point because again, with the amount that is purchased every single week, you got micro or was it strategy B now? You got BlackRock buying. Everybody's buying. And then you glance over. I have my chart over here. That's why I always look over here. You look at the chart and you're like, man, this motherfucker just staying floating right there in that range. It's like consolidating. Corey's mentioned it before. That OTC is a real thing. That OTC is drying up. When that OTC dries up, you ain't gonna be. It's gonna be like getting on a fucking boat and turning your hat forward and turning it all the way up because you ain't gonna be able to keep that motherfucker on your head.
Fucking about face, my boy.
Face melting.
When in
Go.
doubt, zoom out.
Yes.
I was thinking of a funny analogy when you said that. I was comparing, let's just say, tactical aircraft. Think about how high a B-2 flies and how precise that motherfucker is because it sees everything. And then you look at something, I'm not saying the A-10 is not precise because the technology on that motherfucker's got it dialed in, but you listen to the noise, the presentation, you got to be up top. No noise, no external conflict in your mind about what's going on because you have the data. You can't argue with the data. You can't argue with the people that are buying it. You can't argue with Bank of America. You can't argue with the federal government. You can't argue with the local government. What are you going to do?
That's right.
Believe in it or not believe in it. If you don't like assets that appreciate and make you money, well, be a hater. I don't really care. It's pretty fucking naive, in my opinion.
I don't even know if it's hate. Some of it is, but some of it is just fear
No, there's
and
some haters,
uncertainty.
bro.
No, there are haters for sure. You have haters, but like I said, most people that I've talked to that are no coiners, again, they don't understand it. And they'll even say that, oh, I don't get it. Da, da, da. And you try to explain it to them, and it's just like, I don't know if it's registering or if like the light does it. I don't know what it takes for that individual to see whatever they need to see and listen to whatever they need for the ding just to go off.
Either the right
Yeah.
person or they're just
Got their heads
uh,
up their ass.
I mean, not
this
everybody's going to win.
No,
right.
not everybody's not gonna win, but I mean that's kind of I feel like, I'm a messenger, so like, hey,
Well, you did your due
y-
diligence. You reached out with the information. If you didn't receive it, take actions on that information that I exchanged with you, then I'm
that's on
sorry.
you.
I did everything I could. I can't download and build your portfolio for you.
And it's a matter of
Facts.
time because to be fair too, when in November and December we jumped that high, I got some calls from people that I used to work with because they know like I was involved with it, and they're like, "Man, what coin should I be getting? What should I?" I'm like, "Bro, you should have bought a year ago
You
when we were
should have
talking
been
about
in this.
this.
Yeah.
We were talking about this. So like, but
But
I mean, again,
that's that retail.
yeah, but that's why I try to hit them with that's what we're talking about in a sense is too far in the thought process for the beginner because they're still stuck on the fact of, well, what is Bitcoin? They're not that all this adoption and all this stuff, it's like
Yeah,
then
once you
it's
introduce these other sectors of crypto, you start talking about AI, RWAs, tokenization, banking, financial institutions.
That could be overwhelming.
we're
It's like,
talking to other
what did
crypto
he?
people.
Yeah, like when I talk to you or Corey, or whoever who owns or is deeply embedded, or at least reads the news every once in a while, not just like CNN's news, they're excited and they understand what's happening behind the scene. Really, it's not even behind the scene. I mean, you can go anywhere, the World Economic Forum, IMF, any financial podcast, any of the big summits going on, they've all got some sort of crypto introduced into their lineup, if not
Mhm.
multiple. So
X.
yeah,
X.
I don't know what the
You
fuck
can
you
go on
need.
crypto Twitter and man, you get a free crash course. I mean, obviously do your due diligence because not every page is like,
Yeah,
legit, but you could get a good little crash course and get a good
I'll tell
idea
you,
what's going on.
Investopedia was like
Yes.
that's what kicked me off on my education journey. That was a resource that I kind of went back to time and time again.
facts.
Something you didn't even know you needed.
Yeah, and don't get caught up in the drama. A lot of these titles are literally just made to fucking make you click. Anybody that's got a high price and a short timeline, I would be a little skeptical. Invest, they might not be saying something that's false, but they may be giving you a false representation of a timeline based on the opinion that they have due to the information they had access to. So I would just, again, go behind the scenes, get behind the curtains. What you're looking for is on page 10 of Google, not page one. Don't go to the suggested page. They're going to mislead you, take you down the road. You're going to end up with zero crypto and $10,000 fiat just rotting away. So,
If you're new, I would just say stay away from the meme coins. Honestly, just do. Here's the thing, how we got on this whole rabbit hole
That's hard
anyway.
to say though. That's hard to say because
How
that's
we
where
got on this
retail
whole
goes.
yeah, yeah, I know because it's cheap, right? And everybody wants like the cheap thing. They
Yeah.
feel like if I get more right out of something cheap, whereas if I even now if I bought uh a couple XRP is 250, and you don't get that bang for your buck, right? But knowing what we know, we're like 250 still a sale. It's like I'll buy that all day. And even at that price, if I was just starting out, I know that it's going so much higher versus this thing that really they don't know utility. Again, it's how let me back it all up. Not everyone's going to win. Like I've said in many of conversations, we will always have a poor class, a middle class, a high class, one percenters. No matter what, you can give everybody in the world $1 million and they'll find a way to fuck it off, and you'll have the separation of classes. That's just, and it's people, there's a lack of accountability. There's a lack of, uh, a give a fuck to grow yourself. It's growth, right? Like you learned about it on your own. Nobody told you, Corey, go learn about crypto. Nate, go learn about crypto. It was like, hold on, I hear some echoes, right? You hear some echoes, you see some shit, and then you go and do your own homework. You learn about it. You put the time in to learn about it. People are lazy. They rather scroll on TikTok for 5 fucking hours and then go to bed. I'm going, I don't even own a TikTok.
Me either.
yeah,
I
but you
don't
made
could
an
need
just
it.
account.
transition your TikTok algorithms, throw in a little finance, be it
That's
crypto,
what I
be it
say.
Yeah.
larger stock market. Well, I'm just saying, that's where people are. We can't get them off of it. It's too addicting, too much stimulus for the brain. So you might as well direct them to go to at least somewhere that's educational within the platform that they're going to be on, regardless.
I mean,
And that's
they're all technologies, and I think technology, I get it. It's a double-edged sword. It's a tool. The tool inherently is a negative, bad thing. Like how are you using it? Like you said, are you just scrolling on TikTok, brain rot content, or you like really got some substance in your feed? That's kind of what Nate's talking about. Change your algorithm. Like start watching things that are gonna benefit you. You know,
grow you. Yeah. But
it doesn't
people
have
don't
to be
want that.
terrible.
They have a hard day. They want to come home and turn their brain off. I get it. I play dumbass Call of Duty. Turn my brain off. You know what I'm saying? So
Nothing
we
stimulates
got we
my
all got our
fucking
vices, but
Ring of Fire ADHD brain than playing that Call of Duty and get me going.
well, we went down
A bit of a rabbit hole there. But before we
yeah,
leave this rabbit hole, I'm just going to say that everybody's looking for these perfect conditions to start. You know, starting is the perfect condition if you haven't. So
that's right.
I don't know.
Got to get off the block sometime. That first step's not always fun to do, but it's a necessary one.
And you got to step out there. You can't be afraid to step out. Like, and that's not just crypto. That's life.
Life.
You know, kudos to the guy that decided to get on a boat and go across an ocean. Like, and I'm not talking referring to Columbus, just the anybody. Like,
For
you
sure.
know, you got some nuts because
Well,
you don't
100%.
know what's out
You
there.
imagine the motherfucker was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get in that boat with all them fellas over there. We gonna set out. We gonna map this motherfucking earth."
For
What?
real, like that's some
What?
you talking about forward thinking during that era.
Yeah,
Like
think about
what?
the courage behind that, bro. Like, who knows?
Yeah, just people ain't built like that, you know. And
Yeah.
even when it comes to things, when it comes to your money, they get very like, I don't know, people get weird, you know. I get it, you know, it sucks losing money. Nobody want to lose money, but that's kind of how they look at it. But sometimes you might have to take two, three steps back, maybe a side step before you can go 10 forward. So, you know, look at what's his name? The running back for the Eagles.
Saquon.
Saquon.
Saquon, yeah, there was a clip of him. He's doing all that. That's but he got a touchdown. He had to get out of there. It's
Yeah,
gonna
shake
happen.
him off.
Yeah.
Shake him off.
But one more analogy before we leave the rabbit hole. Again, like when in doubt, zoom out. If you have your nose on the wall, you can't see what's in front of you. You are looking at it on such a micro level. If you take 15 steps back, you can actually see the painting or the whatever is on the wall. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to step back to take it the full picture in. Don't be looking at the 1 minute, the 5, the 3 minute, and even the hourly. You got to go monthly and weekly and at least daily and then just zoom out and you'll see over this long ass trend it's been going up. Who cares if we hit 108 and we're at 90? Shoot, even 80, I wouldn't even been freaking out that bad. Like 70, I would have got a little nervous.
Don't even speak that in existence.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
It ain't
I'm trying
going
to,
that low. It don't matter.
it's not
No,
going
that
that low.
92 support level is strong.
Yeah, 92, we've seen wicks to 89, and that's really it. Like, we're not trading around there. We're snapping right up. It's getting bought up. There's too much buying pressure, people. It's not dropping. It's not going nowhere. We got at least another year before they decide to make prices cheap again. So get in while you can. Altcoin season. Hey, Nate and Moneyman said they're in the red. Get them half off.
They are in the red. It's not fun, but they're in the red. We're here.
Depending on where you at in the chart. I bet some of them are pretty green at 5 years. Litecoin's probably extremely green at 5 years. Bitcoin's off the fucking rails at 5 years. So where you look at it from, again, perspective is everything.
It is.
Change it.
Changing my perspective. Hear you loud and clear.
It'll make me drop a Bible verse in this mug.
Hit their ass. Hit them with the book.
All right.
Something need to wake them up.
To Was there anything else you wanted to discuss with the people on crypto tonight? Because that took a hard right turn, and we kind of went down some Magellan Pass and
Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. I
shook
don't know.
hands with Ferdinand, high five Columbus,
I mean, I'll
mapped the
get
whole
into
new
my
world.
ISO bit when we do the five coins
Nah,
or
I
whatever.
wasn't high-fiving Columbus. Fuck Columbus. No, I'm not fucking with Columbus. I'm just making the point of, I mean, again, he did have some courage to get on a boat and do what he did, but Any of them guys, the Vikings, Polynesians, everybody was out there on the boats moving around. Come on now,
Spartan.
riding into a tsunami on a wood log. Come on.
Hey,
Since you
no
mentioned
technology, no
the
GPS.
altcoin market, it's down 234 billion.
Perfect.
We'll
Perfect
see.
time for the ETFs to come out and all the financial institutions can grab them up.
Grab them up, buy them up, send them up, as
Swim
they
with the
say,
whales.
moon them.
Yeah, swim with the whales. Follow the money.
All right,
She
here we
want a
go.
big dog.
This week, starting off, 3 of your top coins, Nathan.
I'm super, super bullish ISO, so I'm gonna go XRP, H bar, and Ondo.
Okay, okay.
Extremely bullish.
Corey?
Bitcoin, ETH, and Cardano.
88.
Cardano, nice. Okay. So you mentioned the ISO. Did you want to put some folks on to the ISO real quick, Nate?
Well, I just found it interesting because we do talk about ISO a lot. So I kind of wanted to elaborate just a hair on what the fuck that actually means. Because what is ISO 20022? It's just a compliance factor. So ISO is really just a financial communication system and standard that they have within all of the financial institutions. So all the ISO compliant coins have that built into their underlying networks and they're ready to integrate that platform. What does that mean? Seamless integration between crypto and the financial industry. So
Blockchain.
just for a little more clarity. Of course, there's eons of information about what ISO is, but essentially it is just that compliance factor and having that integration in the system for the financial messaging.
I like it. I like it. Words from the wise. But I always do find it interesting when I look into ISOs and they talk about, like you said, the compliance behind it. They always say, you know, these ISO tokens, but they always talk about the tokens, but they're never really going into the banks are just basically adopting crypto blockchain to transact on. And that's the part I think most people don't know about neither is what blockchain is. I mean, yeah, it's a digital ledger, but I mean, just the utility behind it. I feel like that's selling it short on the utility that comes along with it. Shoot, we don't even really fully understand what that would be. Maybe in 20 years, we'll have a better idea. Like, dang, I didn't see that coming, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
Like
Oh, there's definitely going to be some that pop up. We're going to be like, holy shit, we didn't, where was this? My
the
big old
motherfuckers
Excel sheet didn't have any of that on there.
the people that seen them giant computers they had back in the day, like ones that were size of buildings. I'm sure the people working on them maybe had an idea where it was going, but like the the people that weren't on the working on the projects, they had no idea where computers and that technology was going to come. They know we were going to be able to sit here and converse like we're doing now. Across the country, 3 different points,
Small,
Different
live.
different
compact,
time zones,
You know,
absolutely.
seamless
So
communication. That's why ISO is so important.
sure.
again, do your research, due diligence, look up ISO, check it out, see which coin appeals to you, which one has the draw, or maybe it's not even the draw. Maybe it's you were a banker in one time and it's a banking coin and that goes against the ethos of what some of us believe and do not believe. But regardless, do some homework, look it up. Corey, give the folks some game.
Don't be afraid to take profits. Not afraid, but don't get greedy. You know, take some profits when you are up in your bags. You don't have to fully liquidate your entire uh position because I think people get married to their entry points. So especially if you're up pretty good on something and you got in real cheap, you get married to that number in your head. So that kind of will screw you up from selling and even buying. Like you don't when you buy, you don't want to raise your average, but you got to also think you're adding to your quantity. So when it does increase, it just adds that little extra multiplier on there to your bag. So again, it's a give and a take thing, but don't
Multiplier.
be afraid to take profits and look into other things in crypto other than just investing in it. If you're investing in it, you should be using it. So uh, this is kind of my whole thing with the ETFs. Like if you're gonna buy it, practice it. Like learn what staking is, learn how to stake. It's basically dividends for cryptos. Especially when the bear market comes where you don't have money laying around, you still want to you know, some build your stack more than what it was. So stake it. Um,
Without doing anything.
look into if you're into the more techier side, look into mining and running nodes and things like that. So there's other ways to make money in crypto other than just the straightforward investing aspect of it. So and trading. So you don't have to trade it to make money on it. There's other things you could do. So that would be my only advice for this week.
Well said, sir. Well said. Well, that brings us into my segment, which you can't even see. So it's a good time for Nate to go take a potty break. Smoke them if you got them. I'm sipping Bardstown tonight. I know you can't really see the bottle, but it's super annoying that it doesn't pop up with my background. But Bardstown, the Discovery Series, it drinks at a 111, 118 proof. This one is a little bit more on the higher price side, at coming in at like 140. You can find them on the shelves though. It's not like it's a super allocated. I think it's semi allocated if that's a thing. Um, it's a blend of six. Hold on, it's right here on the side. They do a good job. A 6 year, a 10 year, and a 13 year. Um, but this is a phenomenal pour. I tell you right off the nose, you get some cherry, maple, caramel. Low viscosity on the palate. Vanilla, nutmeg, toffee is popping on this one. Toffee is fucking tits. Oh my goodness. And it finishes out with a nice, like, leathery. You get some pepper, definitely some oak, and that cherry kind of revisits you again. That's the pour of the week. Bardstown Discovery Series, Series 11. Get you one. You won't. You will not be disappointed, even at $140. Cheers, friends. And you know what that means? It moves us into our next segment, which is what's happening.
Sad. Live from the studio. The
And we all
newsroom.
we all know this is Nate's favorite segment because Nate gets
No.
he gets sparky with this one. All right, so we got promises made, promises kept. This guy just keeps winning. We play the soundbite all the time, but it truly is what he does it all the time, and it's so fun to actually live in a time of like these promises that so many politicians make, and they're he's the one that he's not even a politician. I can't even say that. 47 is coming through, and so with that, he spoke with. I think the big news right now that needs to be talked about is he spoke with Zelensky, he spoke with Putin. He had great conversation, and I already can like hear the narrative just getting twisted every which way by the other side. He's a Putin lover and he's a China lover and all blah blah blah. He's making amends with the world, which should have been done a long time ago. He's making the economic side work in our favor. He's already got Zelensky agreeing to giving up their rare earth was it minerals? I think is what
Yeah.
it was. Rare earth minerals, yeah. And there's a number attached to that. I don't have it pulled up right the second. However, just know Zelensky's on board to squash this thing. He's got Putin. He's saying he's on board to squash this thing. They want to work together. He talked with Putin about not like de-dollarizing, so using the dollar to maintain its power and world dominance. I don't know how you look at this, even if you're on the other side of the aisle, and you get upset about that. I don't understand. And then in the same or the other breath, you're okay with what USAID was doing, and maybe those numbers were inflated a little bit, maybe not. It doesn't matter. The fact that condoms being that magnitude of condoms going somewhere other than that's our money. That's our taxpayer dollars leaving to go to another country for whatever, or
Yeah, and then
Sesame
they don't
Street in
have to scream
Iraq. Like,
about abortions because
They
they
were
can
they were
use
laundering your
contraception.
tax dollars. That's what that was. They were laundering your
Absolutely.
money. Just like that shit they did down in I think Guatemala or some Central American company. They sent like a couple hundred million down there for sex change operations. They're laundering
mhm.
money. They're not doing that. But again, the people behind that party, and that's what they push, and that's the narrative, and it's an easy thing for them to sell, I guess, to the public.
No,
Yeah,
they just push these hysterical narratives. Like if they defund USAID, people worldwide are going to start dying from all these things that we supposedly subsidize. But when you actually look at the numbers, the math ain't mathing for the American people, and that was spoken on during the electoral process. Everybody knows what they voted for. I'm tired of this President Musk propaganda, like all these little narratives. They're
oh,
funny,
I'm
but
going there next.
the good thing about it is the administration moves so fast that the media really doesn't have time to create the narrative that they want because they don't have the foothold to make it happen. Previous administrations, where you might have one executive order in 700 days, well, we can spend that however we want. So I just find it comical when people say, they got them out here arguing against these radical changes that they were calling for from their politicians, but their politicians didn't have the power. That's what they'll tell you. I mean, what was his name? Hakeem Jeffries is out here still, explaining to the people at a little rally that they don't have the leverage to do this. And they never had the leverage to do it because clearly, with a Democratic House, Senate, White House, and you claimed that you couldn't have gotten anything done in 4 years because Republican pushback, and now we're on the flip side of it where they're getting everything they want done, all promises kept within a time frame that's pretty astronomical, especially in our political ecosystem. It's just
Absolutely.
it's a hard pill to swallow, I guess, when you've been pushing so many narratives. I mean, you got to think this has been to the extremes. The fascism, the dictators, the Hitlers, the Nazis, all these crazy things. It's like if you really believe that and you think that's what's happening, then why is it that you think you still get to get platformed and speak all these things and say all this hateful shit and call for violence when you say you don't want violence, and then again you call for the radical change. You claim that they're coming after the personal assets, but when you look at it, they haven't frozen any money coming down to the actual people from the social safety nets, things like that. You the Medicare's, none of that happened. He tried to get rid of Obamacare his first term. It's not going to happen. Congress didn't happen then, which is fine. But you can see that it's still a democracy because you have those facets that get the opportunity to push back and fight with legislation.
Checks and
So
balances.
that's really out for the American people. I put the stats here: 60% approval rating on Doge's efforts. So more than half of the country, overwhelming. That's even more than won the election. I think that was a 54% approval rating on Trump throughout the election. So whatever you want to fight for Department of Education, and 72% of eighth graders can't read on their level or above, go for it. But that doesn't make sense to me. Since 1977, when this thing was established, the numbers have gone down year over year.
Yep.
And simultaneously, the money that's being funneled into those ecosystems has gone up year over year. Whether it's healthcare, billions per pupil. I mean, you hear those stats all the time, but those are real stats. We spend billions and billions more than any country in the world, and we have the most chronically ill, fattest people on the planet. It makes 0 sense.
It's not funny, but that delivery was
It's not.
clutch.
I mean, the stats are crazy because it's kind of. It isn't funny because the same people that are so disease ridden and full of shit literally will stomp around and say like they're the best people in the world and not oppressed. You are oppressed. You're oppressed by a system that you pay for, so it's the worst type.
Mm,
Don't even know you're getting played.
nope.
One of the top three leading causes of death in this country is medical intervention, and what I can't remember the secondary stat to that, but it's literally
Heart disease is up
practicing
there.
practicing physicians.
So, as Nate said,
But I want to let me throw one more in there. I'll let you
go
get
for
after
it.
it.
Yeah.
Because the crazy thing is, you're now fighting for the system. Yet when Luigi went down there and busted old boy's face off in the fucking middle of the street in New York, y'all was screaming, "Take it down! Take it down!" They want to take it down, but you want to picket fence and protest on its behalf. Now you got to stop being influenced by a system that's uh, completely corrupt and b completely misleading.
Maybe change up your news source every once in a while. Hear the other side. It's good to hear the other side.
Well, we live in an era where you don't have to listen to anybody's opinion about this. You can go look at every politician, what the words that come out of their mouth, the actions that they take, it's all online.
Information overload.
You don't have to listen to the View tell you what Donald Trump meant or what he said. You can go watch the full press conference where he answered every single question live on TV for you directly.
That's
Media
facts.
has been individualized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at we're a good example. If we were trying to do this years ago, man, what we got to get a damn TV deal or a radio deal, or
Yeah.
now we can just hop on the computer and start streaming. So again,
Or write a blog.
yeah, but I mean, can't it's harder to get points across, and things can be kind of misconstrued too
Well, sure,
through
there's
text like
context
that.
missing. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, but the same people that are protesting against that stuff are in hating that Elon, because again, I'm not an Elon fan. I always have a skeptical, not that I'm not a fan, I just carry a dose of skepticism when it comes to him, because he is very powerful, but I do I would rather trust him auditing the government than the government doing it, because they're all in cahoots. This is a third party coming in, so
Mm-hmm.
people are just kind of losing it. Again, the same people are protesting are driving around a Tesla or an EV, which have all been modeled after Teslas. So when
I
you
was just
leave your
gonna
protest,
say,
go
like,
hop in your
it's
electric car.
crazy. It is truly crazy to be out here pounding your chest about we didn't know we were voting for Elon Musk. I got a video right here. I got receipts from the campaign trail. This man said exactly what he was going to do. There was going to be radical changes. They were going to audit the shit out of the government. They were going to see what's going on, where money is being lost, and he's doing all that. And he said that he would like to appoint Elon, and if he had the time, let him do it. And it's all playing out. Again, promises made, promises kept. It's nothing new. He said he was going to do it in 24. By golly, we're in 25 now, and he's following through. It wasn't some overnight thing. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my buddy Elon to come over here and get a couple people to audit USAID and education system and maybe the Pentagon next. And by the way, they're all panicking because they got something to fucking hide. That's the only reason. When is the last time you started sweating when you were around? When was the last time you did something wrong and you knew it was wrong, but you did it anyway? But you knew you had that little instinct in you. It was like, it's fucking wrong, but I'm gonna do it. Same thing. You already know. There's motherfucking cops rolling around town. I go out right now after having a couple pours. I'm like, oh shit. That's why I'm not going out. I'm gonna take an Uber, or I'm gonna stay my punk ass right here at the house because I don't need to feel that sweat.
Well, luckily, you're able bodied and you could fit in a normal Uber or a Lyft, unlike some of these fucking people.
Or be careful. She might come after you next. She's suing Lyft. She's probably gonna
baby,
sue the Breakfast Club.
baby girl, I got a big ass couch over here. We can get it in. I can pull the microphone over there. Well, I might need a bigger camera. Yeah.
No, but those people that are freaking out over it, those are the same people that tried to get the man assassinated twice. They're the ones that are throwing
Right.
court cases on him,
They got a lot to hide.
slandering the man in the news. So it, people's world's about to get shooken up.
Well, everybody
So,
says what the people want to hear. It's staggering when it actually happens. What the people want to
yes,
hear starts to take hold. Because you can go back. I find it funny that Senator Warren won't answer a question on to the free press today, but you can go back and look at her running for senator 2009, 2010 era, talking about auditing the federal government, audited everything you want to hear. You can go back and look at Obama's campaign trail. We're going to deport all these illegals, and if they do get to stay here via visa, they got to learn English. They got to do this. They got all these steps. They just said what they wanted to hear. Then he deported 5 million people. Nobody even knows those stats, but Donald Trump deported 700 fucking criminals in a day, and America was in meltdown. Well, not America. Mainstream media was in meltdown mode, trying to save this narrative of dictatorship, Nazism, genocide, hostage camps, all this fucking crazy shit.
Sorry, I was reading the stat here that the FEMA chief financial officer Mary Cummins was just fired for funneling 58 million illegal migrants.
Well, it went to a luxury hotel in New York City, Sanctuary City. 52 million was the number earlier. Maybe they uncovered a little bit more, but yeah, great corrupt. FEMA's great.
I seen a
Well,
thing he's supposed to abolish FEMA.
that that's crazy. But if it's not being spent the right way, it's taxpayer dollars, man. That's what it boils down to.
I mean, it just
Or
it kind of it's kind of
get
like
rid of all this shit. Get rid of all this fucking the taxes that we're paying into. And you go funnel all the fucking money you want, as long as it ain't my fucking money, right?
they don't have money without our money.
Right.
Governments don't create money.
Well, they
I
can
know.
The
print their
citizens
own. They can
they
print
print it, they
they
can
can print
print,
their own, and I can hold on
but
to my
but what I'm
crypto.
saying, what I mean is they don't generate income. When they
I know
print
what you
money, they are just making money out of thin air. And then it screws up all the money that we made.
Yep,
So
I got you.
But
I know.
again, this is one of those hypocritical talking points where it's like these tariffs will actually subsidize some of that money that we spend via taxes to the government, and they'll be what's the word I'm looking for? There'll be a lucrative business.
well, I mean, we talked about it a couple, I
Tariffs.
think 2 podcasts ago. Yeah, Trump's a businessman, so he's gonna cut, and put things in place to generate money. And this is where the left is separate from the conservative. They look at that as a bad thing because they rely on the government. They like the coddling and the hand holding of, Medicaid and government services when this stuff could be privatized, uh, like healthcare and even what we were just talking about, the Department of Education. Look at private schools and public schools. I mean, everybody knows private schools way better education than public.
Substantially better.
So he's kind of just because he's getting rid of the Department of Education doesn't mean that everybody's going to be stupider. In fact, it's going to make people smart because now it's going to leave it up to the states to deal with it and localize governments. They're
That's
going to
what
have more free reign.
I was breaking that down in that comment. I lost the comment. Sorry to whoever that was arguing with me about the Department of Education. All this is actually the marginalized people that you're saying this is going to affect negatively is going to be the most
Have the most to
positively
gain.
affected by these actions, which is correct.
Mhm.
Again, it's just this psychosis of bad, 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 bad. You can't believe anything else, and then you won't even be willing to go and look at what that actually means, and then therefore you'd understand how that actually works. Like you said, the Department of Education. I was watching the documentary on it was like a YouTube documentary, but it was a private school. I want to say it was out of Texas, of course, or somewhere like that. And these kids, man, they had to be between 10 and 15 as a class. It didn't work like the traditional system where it was like K through whatever. They were just
Mhm.
in there. Their school project, they're doing Airbnb arbitrage, they're doing e-commerce, they're learning all these financial tools and instruments and learning all these. I mean, these kids were making thousands of dollars a month. So it's just interesting to me
If
that
only.
nobody's willing to look at those aspects of it.
I mean, you go down the rabbit hole, it gets the whole Department of Education was put in place from the Rothschilds, actually. They created the school system to be the way it is
It's an
because
indoctrination
it's an indoctrination of being
Yeah.
an
So then,
employee.
so if
They're
you're a
not,
conspiracy theorist and then you take the actual raw data and the chart, you can look at it just like a stock. This thing's been going down since 1977, but I'm putting more money into it every year over year, 1977. I wouldn't advise investing in that asset class.
well, people just look at it like they're taking from the poor and giving to the rich with, getting rid of these programs, these agencies, and he's giving tax breaks. So they look at that, but you got to understand you're in a capitalist society. So
100%. Always have been.
it's going to be a winning and a losing situation. So you, if we need to stabilize our economy, we need to be again winning, kind of like what the whole thing is. We need to be winning in the economic race, and that's going to overall enrich everybody. It's going to give you more opportunities to do things, more
Mhm.
jobs to go around, more money to be made. So again, I don't know. People just are looking at it. The way they act is like they wouldn't, them type of people wouldn't mind living in a dictatorship. They're okay with being, say, here's your, I don't know, 4,000 a month and some food, and that's all you get.
Yeah. Here's five news channels.
Yeah, here's
That's
five
all
news
that's on
channel,
TV.
and here's five different outfits. That's all you can wear.
But that's the so I guess here's the question. Was Robin Hood good or bad? Do you think he was right for stealing from the rich and giving to the poor? Or do you think he was wrong?
I mean,
I
I don't,
think
in that
morally it's
scenario,
okay. Yeah, that's a whole different world we're talking about.
If
yeah,
you applied that same logic to
But it's not the same logic because they're stealing from the poor and the marginalized, and they're just taking it to themselves.
yeah, that's kind of
he's
how they're looking at it. That's how I would say the left is looking at it, that they're stealing from the poor and the rich is taking it. Robin Hood's taking from the rich, giving it to the poor. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't help poor people out. That's why I said it should be privatized and there's
But
going to be
let's
a,
help them out. There's
yeah,
again, you got $20 billion to help with homelessness in California, and they got look at the chart. Homelessness on the rise, investment going down. Make it make sense.
yeah.
All of those scenarios, we need to invest in the people. We talk about helping poor people. Well, we could fucking help everybody if we weren't funding the world,
for
funding.
sure.
I mean, you look at just the numbers in the Ukraine, 177 billion, 70, or I'm sorry, 72 accounted for. The rest, who knows where it's at? God forbid we audit it, we get protested. And then, so where's that money at? It would take $5 billion to rebuild everything that was destroyed in Mount. $5 billion, $5 billion, 5%, less than five, 2.5% of what was spent. in the Ukraine war, right? So you have exponential money left over. Now we can go ahead and take care of those people in North Carolina. Hell, we could rebuild California and we could take care of all the homeless people. But it's not going to happen because all of those problems, they like to say Donald Trump loves to run on a problem. No, y'all are living on a problem. You making your pockets fat talking about we need more subsidized efforts to help with homelessness. No, we don't need to spend more money to solve homelessness. That's not the problem. So fuck them.
Indeed, fuck them.
Nonsense.
It's a capitalist society, and it's run that way forever. I mean, if you didn't have these private firms, we wouldn't have shit getting done. If it was run by the government, nothing would get done. So let's talk about Tom Holman. He is still out on the streets getting after it. Somebody leaked where they were going to be raiding next.
Somebody was the FBI, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And he's ready to hold their feet to the fire. He is not happy about it. I mean, dude, that guy is. Y'all ever seen that show Prison Break? He looks like the general in it. He looks like just an angry man. You wouldn't want to cross his path. Anyways, Tom Holm still doing border czar things. It's incredible to see the response that we've gotten thus far from the border security that we've already done.
Not just our own, but Mexico. You got Mexican troops. You got 10,000 national or Mexican national reservists on their borders, slowing the fentanyl down, relieving pressure from our border security. I mean, again, it's just going to help decrease the conflict that's coming with the cartels and all that shit, but stem the flow of traffic. You got too many. I don't know. The only thing I would say on that is it's extremely. I'm curious why the liberal left media seems to have a misunderstanding of what the federal law is, because they don't want to do the migrants or the illegal immigration thing. They just call them all migrants, and it's like, okay, well, at the end of the day, it is a federal law. You cannot be here without documentation, without XYZ. I'm sorry. I don't get. I mean, again, there's no excuses for you people, but y'all will fight for excuses on behalf of somebody who don't even have a TIN that's contributing to this bullshit that's stealing from you. If you go out here and get fucked up and get caught up in some sort of jam, like you get a DUI, you're going to prison, you got fined. There's no, well, like there's no excuse for you. I don't know why people somehow build excuses for other people, even though they've done something that's completely illegal.
So you kind of talked about something that cued a thought in my brain there.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get it pulled up here, but Marco Rubio was doing he was doing a presentation, and he was talking about how imagine working your entire life in this country to collect a social security check for, and that's what I was trying to look up. I don't even know what the social security checks are. They're like peanuts, right? It's like $1,500 or something.
I mean, it all depends on how much you paid in over your lifespan and what number you retire at, really.
But there's a range.
It's all less than $2,500.
Like, yeah, let's just say 15 to 2,500, right? Because it still drives home the point, even on the high end. So 15 to 2,500, you worked your entire life in this country, you've paid your dues, you're retired, you get this kickback for Social Security. Imagine a guy, or I shouldn't say a guy, a person who comes over, and he was talking about specifically came from Cuba. They come from Cuba. Now they get the refugee fund, and it's like $4K a month. 23 years old, able body, they're not working, they're collecting food stamps, they're on Medicaid, they get that 4,000, 5,000 a month. They're going back to their native country multiple times a year. That that alone should piss every hardworking American off. Like that, but that's what we see all the time. We see that refugee fund just it there's it's like we say it all the time. There's no point in like a little bit different, but there's no point in traveling domestically. We get we have to pay so much money to travel domestically versus you
And
know
hell, the rate these things falling out the sky, you don't even want to fucking fly anymore.
You ain't lying.
that's true. But
I mean,
you know what I'm
shit.
saying though, you work your entire life and you got this sense of pride for your country, and then you got this dude coming over and he's making twice as much as you. He's not working. He's collecting all the benefits that he can, and it's like all for what? You know what I'm saying? That's just I don't know that sits doesn't sit well with me.
But
No, it's
that's not a
mind
one.
boggling.
That's not a one fit all thing. Not everybody's necessarily doing it like that. Some of them are, yeah, they're getting it, but some of them are probably working. I mean, I can see it here. I see it here. I don't know if what they're getting in refugee, but I can tell you that there's a lot of foreigners that I see working. They're
Oh yeah. I'm not saying they're not working, but that's the case where we like get the fuck out of here. You don't need to be here. Like you should
yeah,
have like or you should show some type of employment for this. Start paying into the system.
there should be some kind of guideline to filter out those type. Like, okay, if you've been here more than 90 days and you haven't applied or even applied or tried to get a job or something, then you get cut off,
Yeah.
So I don't know so much about the going back and forth between the country because even Yelly was here and she was telling me like her friend, he has his visa. So it says on his visa, no reentry. So if he decides to go back to his home country, he can't come back in,
Mm-hmm.
so he's kind of here and has to renew his visa or he has to get his green card. But I mean, if he
Yeah,
pays taxes and works a regular job,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
and I
fine
think
with
they could
that.
track it because it really where the big money stems from is fuck, I forget the acronym for the application they have where you come in via plane because the people crossing the border, they're not getting any sort of that package. Those people
yeah.
that are coming off of, I'll have to look it up and fact check myself, but the app was real, and so those people coming across that way were receiving the $5,000 stipend, the EBT, the healthcare, and the housing. Which, okay, if that number is 10 million, then that's crazy. Because if they had 15 to 20 million crossings, right? Exponentially from 22 to 24. When the CBP one, that's what it's called. CBP one app was released. And I think that was through executive actions, which is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so in that sense, I you I don't know, you got to go. But I'm with Corey. There should be a process where if you have invested and you're working, you're going to school. I know I've seen Trump say that about if you were going to school via and you weren't legal, he would consider the visa there. And I think there was some other stipulations, but yeah, I definitely just need to crack down on it. First got to get the criminal, all the illegal
Yeah.
activity out of here because it's just insane. I mean, like I
Worst
said, if
first. That's what
if
they
you don't
say.
if you don't get a pass, how do these people get a pass to stay in a sanctuary city if they've raped a child or something like this because of their alienation status, whatever it might be? So fuck that.
Yeah, we shouldn't be letting them. Those are the ones, again, there needs to be some kind of, like I said, a filter that you shouldn't even be able to come here. You got that type of stuff. Like I know not all the countries that some of these people are coming from even have like the system in place to even track that or law enforcement or any of that. But I don't know. I'm not like anti like immigration or
I'm not either.
I
I
think
mean,
that
we're
because that's
all
what makes
immigrants to some
America,
effect.
I would say that's what makes America America. We have everybody. Like that's what makes us great. Like it's most countries is isolated people in one culture. We have everybody in every culture. And yes, this is why people tend to there's friction, but the
It's
day that people wake
commonalities
up,
too.
again, I'm gonna hit them with the Bible reference, love thy neighbor. If everybody really truly lived by that, man, we could have something really good here. But again, it just takes education, and not being closed-minded to certain things. Again, you do have there's bad people in the world. They're gonna milk the system. They're gonna finesse. They're gonna do what they need to do. And that's why we need to put things in place to filter out, all right, well, who's getting off on the system versus who's actually using it to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me be clear, not just illegal. Some of y'all out here reaping these benefits. You pushing 400 or 500. You got food stamp? Damn.
Facts. Facts. Getting the yamps.
Yeah. I am not I totally agree with everything you said as far as I'm not anti immigrants. I think it's the illegal immigrants. Very clearly it's against the rules, right? It sucks. Sorry. It's it's why have been called insensitive with the whole always going to be a poor, a middle, and a upper class. Same thing. You were born in a different country. That sucks. You weren't born a native American. That sucks. You want to come here. It's going to be a little bit harder, but you take the right channels and you'll get here.
Yeah, then
Persistence pays off.
you don't have to worry about shit. You don't
Right.
need to be on Instagram. I'm so scared. Why? Go join the military. You can get your visa. I went with the boys that got their visas over there in Kuwait when we was there, 2011. Pretty cool process. One of them was from Haiti. Oh goodness, where was the other one? I can't remember. Yeah,
We had
Central
a
America somewhere.
Nate and I had an Uber driver from Jack's Beach. This dude was from like Senegal, Africa.
My
He got his
boy,
he got his visa. He was in the Navy.
kicking it. There's ways.
There's so many ways. It's again, I feel like the theme tonight is being just education. Just do your accountability and do your own homework. Due diligence. There's always an avenue for something. You got to look past that initial foggy window.
Like we said
Hell, when
earlier,
I
you
go
just
to
got to start. You got to
yeah,
start. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Everybody, eh, nobody's just born where, like has it all. They started, they learned, they went through the trenches. The guy you see in the gym, that's he was not born like that. Like he
that's
he
right.
earned it, like he worked for it. Uh the smart kid in class, he's smart because he studies and he listens and he pays attention while you're too busy fucking off. So
Trying to be cool.
yeah, you want to be cool.
You're gonna end up fucking broke and complaining.
For real, let's make smart. You gotta make smart cool, man, because everything that is cool now is just so stupid and it serves you nothing. They're out here pushing death on people,
Mm-hmm.
figuratively and literally. You gotta breathe life into people. That's kind of why I talk to the people about crypto. Like I'll kind of bait them. I'll ask them a question and try and steer the conversation into it just to kind of pick their brain. I guess that's the salesman in me, though.
Fucking chill.
Shill away, brother. Shill away.
I'm not selling. I ain't
Educate.
tell
I'm
you what
just
I'm
Yeah,
teasing
selling,
you.
it is. It's
but
education.
it's all education and not even just education, just being consistent. Consistency is key to everything. Like I know that's cliche and everybody hears it, but it's cliche for a reason. Like you,
Because every successful person has been persistent or they've stayed consistent. I
yes,
mean, there's always a pattern with any successful person. That's why you can go on Instagram or any of these social media things and it's like read a book or 20 minutes a day, do this, that. And then they write a book on how to be successful. And it's all those same
facts.
things, same
Yeah,
points, just in their own view.
but everybody they'll start and then they'll quit because let's face it, there's pain along the way. You're gonna go through your pains. Again,
Oh yeah.
not necessarily physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's like you don't feel like doing it that day. Well, go ahead and do it. You'll feel so much better about whatever that thing is the days that you don't want to do it and you do it anyways versus, the day when you were pumped up and you wanted to do it. It's
Oh
more
yeah.
rewarding on this day than when
Oh
you were
yeah. Me and
ready,
Nate talk
like,
about that
woo.
shit all the time. We at going to the gym it's like, man, I do not want to go today. That'd be the best days. I'm talking,
Hmm.
you come out of that motherfucker feeling like somebody just built a CMU wall. I'll run through that hoe.
For sure. The gym is the best analogy for that, but not everybody works out, so you might not know what that is dragging yourself into the gym. And again, that first 10, 15 minutes might be like, but once you get your blood get going and get a little pump, you start feeling good, you're in there.
You
Yeah.
release those miracle molecules.
Yes,
Some pretty crazy science on that stuff.
those antidepressants,
Decrease depression, increase
natural,
confidence,
no pharmaceuticals,
and you got some blood flow. Like you said, I mean, the gym is really just a great analogy for life.
for
There's
sure.
no instant gratification. There's nobody's coming to help you do them reps. There's no like it's all on you and what you know and how you apply that knowledge to the situation and how much intensity and urgency you bring to knocking that down. You see people lose 100 pounds in 60 days. And you say, "Oh, it's impossible." It's impossible with your mindset. But how intentional were they when they were moving around? How intentional were they with the diet? How consistent were they with the check-ins, with getting to the gym, with the cardio session? Oh damn, I don't want to get in the sauna today because it's already hot outside. Well, I have to. Well, damn, I don't want to get in that cold shower, that cold ice tub in the morning. Don't. The only person that's going to negatively affect is you.
It's
I
always
like
a have to.
the intensity part. Because how many times have you seen somebody sit in the gym? They'll sit there, they're in there playing. They're in there playing or they're socializing.
Yeah, that's it.
Hit a little couple reps, pull out their phone, sit on their phone, or talk to somebody for 20 minutes, go back.
Talking.
Versus the guy who's doing the same workout, maybe even close to the same weight, but he's hitting his set, maybe supersetting something, going over,
I
hitting the
say he's probably
damn
supersetting.
going and hitting the damn cables and then coming back over and hitting another set or just dropping doing push-ups or turning into squats. Like one, he's burning more calories. He's gonna go further quicker than the one who's just doing this
Oh
or
yeah. 100%.
Oh
bullshitting.
yeah, I've tried, man. I've seen people in the gym. I've been going to this gym 5 years. It's okay, it's okay to have seasons. You might be big, you might be small, you might be whatever. But if you've literally just been the same, in some cases, I hate to say this, but I've seen even worse. Like this, some people treat it like a social club. Some people
Yeah.
just go there to go there and go through the motion and say, I went to the gym, but 6 months later, they're going to be like, well, I got no results. That's where the intensity comes from.
And they quit.
And then they give up. Yeah. But even then, how could you get? Because if you're even trying, you should be able to. You get that's the cool thing about working out because you get that little peek into the future. You get that window, that pump that Corey was talking about. That blood's flowing, all the muscles are stimulated. You're super hydrated. You got your salts. You got everything you need, and you shit fucking on 10 for about 30 minutes, and then you start to deflate and everything. Your blood gets flooded with the glycogen and all that bullshit after you eat again, and you look bloated and you're disappointed, and you say, "Damn, I got to get back to the gym tomorrow." But the hard thing is getting back to the gym tomorrow. Are you going to do it?
Going to the gym is more mental than physical. Like
The
mental
hardest part about
all
going to
the
the gym
way.
is getting in the vehicle and going up to that bitch. Literally, I tell everybody that. That's the hard part.
Yeah. But where I was going is like I've had very creative and good like thoughts when I'm in the gym working out. Like when I'm working out, I feel like I get my most creative juices and flows because I'm just kind of in my head, especially if I'm by myself. I don't know. I just have some of my best ideas, I feel. Or like when I was working out with my friend, that was another thing. Like me and him were real close, so we kind of bouncing ideas off each other the entire time we're in there working out. Again, with an intensity, not like we're just standing there talking 10 minutes in
Yeah.
between you set, like, oh, boom, boom, spit this idea out, go into the set, get up. You know what? Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah. And you can do that. Like I remember, man, I had so many people over the past few years. Like, I want to go to the gym with you. I'm like, do you really? And then we get there and then we start talking about all bullshit. Other people in the gym. I said, what the fuck they got to do with us? What does it got to do with you? Like you need to get you ain't you not coming to the gym with me again. You throwing me off. You talking way too much. I don't give a fuck what they got going on. That ain't gonna contribute to my gains whatsoever.
It's true. I went to the gym with Nate, and this was when I was
This was a long time. I wasn't even
heavy.
locked in. No, I'm locked
I was
in.
heavy in the CrossFit. I'm talking like I was getting after it. I went with Nate for the session. That boy put it on me. I was like, shit. I need I need to start working some other shit out here.
Thanks. Are you still doing CrossFit?
No, I'm just lifting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to the CrossFit gym and I do like a little tiny wad. I don't do crazy shit anymore. I just don't have the mobility anymore.
That
I
stuff's it makes you very injury prone doing a lot of this shit that they have you doing.
There's stuff that is very there's like anything. It's a moderation and doing the bad thing about it is like you do a lift or you do a movement I should say. You do a movement and you become so fatigued that the movement is it's not a crisp movement and you're not engaging those muscles anymore. It's just trying to get that rep done, and then
Forcing it.
you lose the quality to gain that quantity. So I know there's going to be some hate on that, but that's just that's what I gained over my years doing CrossFit. I love doing CrossFit. I love like that little heart pump. I love that die at the end, like that little wheezy cough that you get at the end. I love that shit. And I love like the world like almost blacking out on me and I'm coming back. I like that. I enjoy that. I'm a psychopath. I really do like that. But I know that my body is not even from CrossFit, just where life has hit me. I can't do a lot of the shit anymore. So I just I lift. I don't lift heavy. I do my little. I get on my bike. I ride my bike because I ain't got the knees to run anymore. So I get on the bike, low impact. So we got a swimming pool. I'm thinking about starting to incorporate a little swimming into my regiment. But I've
You get
never
on that Stairmaster.
this man not hear me about my knees.
It's low impact.
I'll tell you what I won't do, and I can catch all the heat in the world. I won't get on that damn elliptical. There is no way. There is not. It is just you talk about losing some masculinity points, bro.
Not even that. I just feel like there's a better th thing to do the same thing. Like there's a better tool for it. Like anytime I've ever done an elliptical, it feels too easy because you're using your arm, you cheating, so you're
Oh,
not
I
even
just don't
really.
like how
Yeah,
that
and then
moves.
it's pushing you and all that.
Got that
Yeah.
little weird sway of the hips. I'm like, no, I don't like this. Let me get back on this
Yeah.
bike real quick. Oh man. Anyway, well-being, ladies and gentlemen, well-being. Take care of yourself.
Try it. I had to
Try it.
send you
You
pictures
might
from when
like
I
it.
climbed. I had to send you the pictures from when I climbed the Twin Towers on the Stairmaster. It was flooded.
Sheesh.
It
I
was
bet.
flooded.
It was fucking disgusting. My legs hurt so bad.
I bet.
Oh, you get a nice pump from the Stairmaster. Go hit the Stairmaster for a minute and then go do squats right after. Oh
Well, the
boy.
Stairmaster's a fact. Like if you want to lose some weight, you hit that Stairmaster first because you're gonna get your heart rate up and you're gonna burn more calories on that Stairmaster than any other piece of cardio equipment in the gym. So
Facts. I'm leaking like a pig when I get on it.
you get on there, you put that bitch on 7 through 10. Give me 10 minutes in the beginning and get straight into that workout, man. Your heart rate gonna be floating.
Maxed out. All right. So the really the only thing I was gonna mention was uh before we got on the well-being path, which I love that we touched on that. We've been talking about kind of incorporating a little bit of well-being into the regiment here. Um, and I feel like it's not even of importance anymore. I was going to talk about how JD Vance is
Yeah, let him go. Fuck him.
across the water. He's doing his thing for us.
Of course, the vice president's working in this administration, folks. Who's not? Tulsi Gabbard got confirmed. That's big news.
And that was the other one. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard got confirmed this evening. So
All good
huge,
things.
huge. That is, I can't wait, man. This is, it's all up.
It's all up.
It's all up.
You got to pump it
I don't know.
up, you know, pump
Corey, you got anything?
it
Anything
up.
else you want to give to the people?
To all, good night.
Nate, you got anything you want to give to the people that you ain't gave already?
I don't know. I put some hammer blows on them. I don't want to blow up the internet today. Get your well-being, health, money, all that stuff. Lock in. I told Bo in the group chat, he's freaking out. The day you plant the seed is not the day you harvest. So stand by.
Stand by. And stand by for this episode to drop Friday
Morning.
morning. And please like, subscribe, comment.
Please come argue
y'all.
with me in the comments. I'm ready to cook y'all up, man.
Yeah, if y'all want to know, it's usually Nate cooking.
You want to come school me, you better bring some receipts.
So appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much, gentlemen. As always, it's a pleasure. I love doing this shit with y'all. It's fun. I look forward to Wednesday nights now.
Just wait till we start pumping out 2 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going direct sub channel. We're bringing it to you twice a week.
Episode 10. We might do something a little different. Episode 10. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week.